Cedric, are you ready for this week's episode?
Oh, what?
Are you ready for this week's episode?
Yes.
Then
Yes,
let's
sir.
You got copyrighted for singing the Frank Ocean song.
That could be that. That could be that. That's an old ass fucking song. That shit fucking. I think it was because I was singing Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean was like, hell no, take that shit down. That ain't me. What's up? What it is? What it do? How are you, man? Welcome to another episode of Wanna Argue. I am your host, Seti Said. As always, man, rocking it with my boy Joey, man, hostess with the mostest. How you doing this week, bro?
Man.
What's going on with you? What's going on with you? The people want to know.
Actually, it's funny. I had like a few minutes before I had to head up here. I was still at the house. And for my gamer bros out there, I have like a giant like track mouse pad that like just fills up basically my entire half of my desk. Like, one of the
Nerd.
big one.
Why is your mouse pad that big?
It was when I had a gaming computer and like, you know, you move the mouse around a lot.
Yeah.
The smaller square ones just ain't enough for me. And so I just, dropped, it was like $20, I think, and just got a big one. And like,
moving.
dude, I bought it. I'd say it's running on 2.5 to 3 years ago now, and never washed it once. I maybe took an alcohol wipe and wiped it down if I spilled something on it, or it was back when I was smoking, so maybe some ash or something was on it.
Do you gotta wash those things?
I found out you're supposed to. I was on good old TikTok and I saw this. It was earlier this morning when I first woke up, and I saw a TikTok of this guy who was like, "I'm gonna show you guys how to properly wash your mouse pads." And I was like, "Wash them," and I followed exactly what he did. I put it in my bathtub, hot water over it, and then laundry detergent on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used a Scrub Daddy, right? The ones with a smiley face.
Oh, that's tight. Yeah.
And I knew I was in for a bumpy road when I put the water on it and black gunk was in the water coming out. I was like, oh shit, dude.
God damn.
So I was scrubbing it out, man. And it was like, it's like when you wash your car by hand. It's just, it was so fucking
It
bad.
It didn't damage the mouse pad?
No, it doesn't. Because it's like felt or something.
Oh, okay.
It's
I thought
not
it was like foamy type shit.
I guess so, but it's super absorbent, obviously. But and I did what the TikTok told me to do, which is you put it user side down, and then you kind of fold a towel over it, and then you roll it up, and you just step on it. And after I took it out the towel, I was like, dude, there's no way the shit's still gonna be soaked. It was like dry. I had to wipe off the back of it a little bit, but I was like, holy shit! And then I smelt it, and I was like, holy shit! I was just more surprised at how fucking disgusting. Oh, dude, it was like I was staring at it. I was like,
nasty it was,
because it makes you think too. Your hands are on that all the time, and my hands were on all that dirt, that skin, ash, whatever the fuck was on top of that thing.
Wow,
fucking
Cheeto dust.
Yeah, bro. But I mean, other than that, this week it was just pretty. Cedric, I gotta say, this was probably the first week in a while where I didn't come in here and be like, my life sucks, Cedric. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how's your week been,
man,
brother?
I'm proud of you actually on that.
You're proud of me, dude?
But yeah, hey, for our viewers and our listeners out there, wash your fucking mouse pads.
Dude, no, seriously, if you're watching this and if you're watching this at your gaming setup or whatever, take the time, really quick, I'll just tell you, put it in a bathtub, hot water over it, and then a little bit of detergent. And use a sponge or a scrubber. You have to. It's not going to damage it if you use like a Scrub Daddy like I did. The video that I was watching, I think they're using like a magic eraser. But like don't go in there with a fucking Brillo pad, obviously. But like scrub that bitch down and it may not be as bad as mine, but it's just good practice because like especially if you're gaming it all the time, think of all that built up bacteria and gunk that you're just constantly putting your hands on top of. It's probably good practice to do it at least, I'd say like once a year. Like if you fan and you clean out, you airbrush your fucking PC. It took me like less than 15 minutes.
Okay.
It's just good,
That doesn't sound bad at all, bro.
right? All right, sorry for being a
Hey, man,
fucking
clean up
nerd.
responsibly. Nah, it's all good, man.
But your week been good?
Yeah, bro. Week's been good. Shit, bro. It hasn't been bad, but it's been like very, like anxious, like anxiety filled.
Yeah.
Like fucking, dude. I don't know what it is. I get so anxious at times, bro. Like my heart rate just starts fucking going. I'm like, I gotta take a step back and take a deep breath and shit. Like just chill out. And it's always like, it's never like something extreme. It's just like things that like make me uncomfortable, or I feel like I'm panicking or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's one of
yeah.
those things. But this week has been really chill. It's been really good. I've been doing a lot of like early shifts at
Okay.
work. And today I woke up, bro. I was feeling pretty good. Like I wasn't tired or anything, like groggy or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna call this week a win for real for the home team, bro.
So you said you woke up feeling good?
Yeah, bro. I woke up feeling good. Like I don't,
Ah.
the only thing that I didn't like, bro, like I woke up, my body like woke me up naturally, right?
Sure.
So I went to go get some water. I look at the oven clock. I'm like, damn, I got to be up right now.
Yeah, bro.
Like it was like literally like 1 minute before my alarm went off, and I was like, shit. So I guess I just gotta stay up and get ready, bro. But like my body was just like walking around and shit. I was like, okay, cool, bro. Had some nice tunes on the way to work, bro.
Yeah.
Traffic was nice. It was a good day, bro. It's been pretty cool.
Isn't it crazy when like you wake up in the middle of the night and your mouth is just like desert, and you drink water and you're just like,
Oh,
yeah,
like
for sure, bro.
your whole body is like thanking you for that shit.
Bro, I
Like,
used to slam a soda.
like, what were we doing in our sleep?
I'd wake up and instead of drinking water, I'd slam a can of soda.
Oh wow!
And I just burp and be like, "Damn, I feel great," and just go back to bed.
Hell yeah, bro! Anything that can quench that thirst of sleeping.
Yeah.
I wonder if people who lucid dream get like more fatigue during sleep.
Dude, fun fact: before I started doing hella drugs and shit,
Yeah.
I was an extremely lucid sleeper. Like especially when I was younger, I'd remember it was more when I would like spend my summers with family up in good old Diana, and good old cornfield country, and I would have like nightmares, and I would like be able to kick my fucking foot in real life and wake myself up out of the dream, and I'd be able to sometimes control them, like what happened, like because you know how in dreams, like if you're running away from something, it feels like you're on a treadmill and that shit's just like you don't move anywhere.
Yeah.
I'd be able to just be like and just stop, and like the craziest thing I've ever done was like it's actually not that crazy, but I would just be able to be like, this is a dream.
Yeah.
Nothing is happening. This is a dream. And then I'd kick my fucking foot and then I'd just wake up. But I would have like the same reoccurring dreams about some fucked up shit. Basically it was just like my family, it was kind of like Red Rum. Like my family bought this hotel, and one of my aunts who I fucking hate and despise, she like was a witch and she was brewing a cauldron underneath the hotel. And then and then it was always this thing where like her and her witch gang, her witch crew, would just come and come after our family and like kick in fucking doors and shit. We'd be like, ah, you know what I mean? But then it always ended with me running away from her. And it was always that point where I'd be able to, this is a dream. And then I just fucking wake myself up. Now, no. Once you start doing drugs, you don't even dream. You just black out and wake up.
I have these like reoccurring dreams where like there's a group of people chasing me, and it's like I know it's a dream, but I can never wake up from it.
Yeah.
So like I'm just fucking hauling ass, bro. Like, and the setting is always different, but like the fear is always there. It's like I don't know what these people are gonna do with me when they catch me, bro. So like
get that R word in on you, bro.
Like I'll be sitting outside of my dream, like at an apartment complex or some shit, like some random building, and then like all these cars will pull up and shit. These people hop out. I'll be like, oh shit.
Okay, that's kind of fucking crazy.
I just like take off, bro, and I'm like fucking jumping through people's like fucking houses and stuff. It's crazy, dude. And then like I'll wake up and I'm like, fucking like my heart's fucking racing and shit. I'm like, damn. So that's why I was like, I wonder if people like who lucid dream just wake up like thirsty as shit from running for real.
Bro, I would wake up out of breath.
Yeah, bro. Like your brain, it's so like your brain is like thinking this shit's happening. That's so weird.
It's also kind of scary too, because back when I was able to like control my dreams or wake myself up from my dreams, I get a lot of sleep paralysis.
Dude, I'm so thankful I've never had
It's
sleep
scary, bro.
That shit sounds terrible.
The worst one I've ever had, I was like laying on my side, and when I was growing up, my sister, when she was in high school, one of my older sisters, when she would get off of work, she would always call me on the phone, and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna stop and get some food. Do you want something?" And so I was like laying in my bed on my side, and she called me, and I did one of those things where you just put your phone on the pillow and rest your head on it and still kind of like sleep and like, hello. And then she was talking, and I would try to answer her, and like my body was froze and I couldn't breathe. And like it was probably only for a few seconds, but it felt like fucking minutes, dude. I thought I was gonna die. And so there'd be times like I sleep on my back, and then I just wake up and I can't move my body at all. And like you try your hardest to fucking move, and you can't. I wouldn't be able to breathe during those.
Yeah.
And then when you finally hit it, you're like, you know what I mean?
No, bro, that sounds fucking terrible.
I'm pretty sure
bro.
there've been people that maybe have died from that shit.
Dude, I would literally like panic, bro. I couldn't do it, dude.
Nah,
like,
I'd just be like, oh, it's over.
I'd be like, oh,
knock back out.
I'll call out to work. Oh God, I'll call out, bro. I'll be like, I can't come in, bro. Some crazy shit just
Make you
happened to
rethink your
me.
life and shit. Yeah.
Hey man, when you argue responsibly, sleep responsibly, man. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. We're gonna be talking about parenting. Does spanking your children make you a bad parent? Or does spanking your children equate to bad parenting? We're gonna talk about the line between discipline and punishment, and if they correlate or if they differ. You know, how some kids react to certain things and versus the other one. I gotta go in the bag again. Who that?
Oh my.
That's Kenny.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt the show, but Kenny just walked in studio, and I looked over my left because I thought I heard a door open. I just see him, and I jumped, dude.
Yo, shout out to Kenny, man.
Shouts out Cowboy Kenny.
Yes, sir. Cowboy Kenny in the building, man. But yeah, we're talking about does spanking your children equate to bad parenting? But before we get into all that, Joey, want to warm up? Yes, y'all. You know, and it don't stop. This is Wanna Argue's weekly warm up, where we like to keep it light and airy because some of the topics can get a little heavy, man. So, Joey, you ready to do this?
Yes.
All right. So, the question for the week is: would you rather forget all the memory of yourself or all the memory of everyone else around you?
I'd rather forget the memory of myself because I hate myself.
Oh my God. We were just giving this motherfucker some props. Like, hey, this is the first week I didn't come in here like, hey, my fucking life sucks. I was like, I fucking hate myself.
I mean, that would feel like a no-brainer to me because like if I forgot about my mom's or my family or my good homies and shit, you know, like looking at them, you know, like I got dementia. Like, would
you trust everybody to accurately give you memories of yourself?
No, it'd be like some 21st date shits where like I record myself and then every day I wake up, I don't have memory, so I'm like on a TV screen when I wake up on cue, like Joey.
It's like this your homies.
Yeah, this is your age, yada yada yada, whatever the fuck.
You got a kid.
Just fuck with myself one day, bro.
That's so crazy,
and your
bro.
dick
Because
fell
like
off.
speaking of that movie, bro, like, that's exactly what the fuck happened. Like she woke up, she had a kid.
Yeah.
Motherfucker had to like remind her every day.
Bro, he was so horny. He was
bro,
like,
on
I got
me
it.
because
I got you.
Like,
that's a lot to deal with.
I'm like, I'll stick beside a woman, bro. But like, god damn, every day I gotta fucking remind you every day what we did for the past 20 years.
Once you get past the honeymoon phase, you just gonna be like, all right, this is kind of fucked.
It's like, look, bro,
I'll kind of get tired of this shit.
You either gonna remember me or you not. But like,
she wake up next to you beating your ass one day, like, what the fuck?
Like, what you doing? Who's in my house?
Stop playing the video.
Play the video, Junior. That's fucking funny as shit, bro.
I mean, I hate to take it there, but like, what if she's like scared? Like, she don't know who she is or where she's at, but you got a gun or something on the table.
Bro, I would assume that no weapons are allowed in the crib, bro.
Dude, horrible transition. But speaking of guns, I'm so sorry to bring this up. There's been a little bit of push for some of that gun safety, man. They're proposing red flag, background checks, wait time, and this is for ARs.
Yeah.
Right? Even proposing AR bans, which is something we brought up on the episode where we talked about it.
Right.
Even good old American hero, American icon, Matthew McConaughey gave a speech at the White House about it. It's pretty good. I watched it, you know. It was emotional as fuck. I didn't know a lot of like that, and sorry to get graphic, viewers / listeners, that a lot of the bodies were mutilated, destroyed by that assault rifle. Kids' heads getting completely blown off, like bodies getting ripped to shit. I mean, this is graphic, but this is really what happened. It just puts emphasis on why this shit needs to be kept on lock. Because a lot of these mass shooters are young guns that are 18 and walk into a pawn shop or whatever the fuck. They're like, oh wow, it's an assault rifle, and they can buy it only being 18. So little steps like raise the age limit. I don't even think, at least for assault rifles, I think 21 still might be a little too young. I'd say maybe go a little bit higher. Controversial, maybe 25.
We're gonna have to talk about that one day for sure on the show because we gotta talk about the military and shit. Like it's a whole nother ordeal behind that shit. You know
but I'm talking about like personal purchase recreation,
right? But
like,
isn't it like
you don't need an AR?
True, but isn't it like kind of contradictory that we can send our 18-year-old youths to go fight for the country with bigger guns than fucking that?
Yeah.
And then, they can't necessarily come here or have a beer or nothing like that.
No, I mean, I understand that 100%, but I mean, shit's still going down.
100%, bro. Y'all stay safe out there.
I don't want to keep, it's just like a little bit of an update. They're not trying to take anybody's guns away. They're just saying, at least for fucking fully automatic weapons, just make it a little bit harder to get.
It's a little bit
just a little bit harder, which
is fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully that at least cuts it down a little bit because it's been crazy as fuck out here. Mm. I would rather forget about that shit.
Yeah, then remember myself. Fuck.
Remember myself, man. Hell yeah, man. But that does it for this week's
Jesus
weekly warm up. I always get fucking blow on that. Now it's time. Now it's time for Wanna Argue's weekly news.
It's time for this week's headlines, stories, mysteries, whatever. Wanna Argue News.
Hello, this is Seti Said with WAWN. Weekly news, responsibly. An Arizona man was jailed for 17 days after American Airlines mistakenly identified him as a suspect who had broken into a duty-free shop at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and then boarded an American flight to Reno, Nevada. The man, Michael Lowe, contends in the suit that he had lived in a constant state of fear while he was jailed at the Equate County Detention Center in rural New Mexico, where violent outbursts erupted over trivial disputes, and he saw an inmate punch another inmate standing the wall. Well, American Airlines, you're going to fly your way into court. Moving on. Cold case investigators have located the now adult daughter of a Florida couple slain in 1981 and whose baby ended up in the care of a nomadic religious group, officials said Thursday. The body of two people were found slain in a wooded area in Houston in 1981, but their identities were unknown until last year when genetic research finally determined that they're Tina Gail Lynn Klaus, and Harold Dean Klaus, Jr., Texas prosecutors said. The baby is now 42 years old and stays in Florida. If that's not a family reunion, I don't know what is. And last but not least, in my neck of the woods, the Missouri Court of Appeals upheld a $5.2 million judgment Tuesday involving a Jackson County, Missouri woman who said she unknowingly caught HPV during unprotected sex in the luxury sedan of a former male romantic partner in 2017. After the woman notified Geico that she was seeking monetary damages, an arbitrator with Jackson County Circuit Court ruled last year that the man was liable for not disclosing his infection, saying that sex in the car directly caused or directly contributed to the cause of the woman's contraction of HPV. She definitely didn't save 15% on Geico with that one. And that's all that's in my neck of the woods. Joey, what's going on over there?
Hello, this is Joey from WAWN. In our first story this week, a Florida woman is accused of child neglect after her toddler was reported to be walking the family's pit bull alone, in a diaper. Mary Jane Wright, 37, was arrested under counts of child neglect without any bodily harm. This came after police were called after members of the community spotted the toddler walking the pit bull. Hey, maybe the kid just wanted some fresh air. And in our final story this week, Veteran lobster diver Michael Picard, 56, was swallowed whole by a humpback whale during his routine lobster dive in Cape Cod. In a quote, Picard said, "All of a sudden, I felt this huge shove, and next thing I knew, it was completely black." According to Picard, he was moving around in the whale's mouth. The whale was moving its head side to side as an indication that it was uncomfortable. 30 to 40 seconds later, the whale had surfaced. Picard then says he saw a white light and was then released from the whale. Wow, that was a mouthful. That's been all the news this week, guys. Cedric, back to you.
Back to you guys. So this motherfucker come out the blowhole? Like, how did
Dude,
that work?
when I was reading it, it was like I guess like the whale spit him up. He didn't really specify. Cedric also too. I'm pretty sure if you come out the blowhole, one, you might get stuck in there because I don't think whale blowholes are as big as people think they are.
Jordan, how big are whale blowholes?
Oh Jesus!
You already
Oh
know,
shit,
man.
Jordan!
We like to argue responsibly. Shout out to Jordan behind the ones and twos and our researcher for this evening.
Like he was saying in the article when I was reading it, he was saying like he was thinking it was a shark, right? But then he realized I'm not cut, I'm not bleeding, I'm not hurting. I think I got swallowed by a whale. And like, bro, being swallowed by a whale?
That's
like,
some
fuck,
finding
dude?
Nemo shit,
Dude,
man.
imagine you just out there trying to get your lobsters.
That man biblical.
10
as fuck.
inches. You're getting stuck. That's my dick. I'm
Bro, that's
sorry.
it. Bro, 10 inches? I would assume whale blowholes to be a little bit.
You're gonna be like that dude from Charlie the Chocolate Factory, Augustus Gloop. You're just gonna get stuck.
Bro,
Augustus
10 inches or 20 centimeters. Wow.
So
Talk to us.
So it seems that that's for a gray whale, I think.
What about a humpback?
So a blue whale is the biggest whale,
What
and it
about a
says
humpback?
their blowholes can reach 20 inches.
Are we 20 inches wide?
Big
Is this
enough.
something
That's
20
big enough to squeeze a baby through.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, bro. We can probably get 20 inches.
So
But with that
Like
pressure,
shoulder to
though,
shoulder, we're probably like
over
2 feet. Like
yeah.
2 feet.
Yeah. If you
Shoulder
got
to
them
shoulder.
football shoulders.
You know what I'm saying? Football, I'm probably fucking 2 feet
Bro,
across.
Cedric,
bro.
you could tackle somebody and probably kill them.
Damn.
hell no, you're not.
I don't
fitting
know
through
about-
this. Look at this.
I don't know about.
Ah!
Oh, that looks fucking nasty, bro. That looks
Bro,
disgusting.
honestly, too, it probably smelled like shit in that fucking whale's mouth.
Bro, well blowholes do not look
Why is that picture? Is it, dude? What's going on?
sucked into a whale's blowhole.
But you're not coming out of that, dude.
Wow.
I don't think you're fitting.
Well,
It is broken into two parts like a
I was about to
nostril.
say maybe you could, but it's in two parts.
So did he just like spit him out?
I think so. Yeah, like because when the whale surfaced, it probably opened its mouth or something, and then he just kind of fell. It didn't specify. To him, he said like it was just dark. He was moving around. He felt the whale shaking its head back and forth, and he said it was like an indication to him that the whale didn't like what he was doing in there.
This nigga nasty, fool. God.
And then he was like, "Bro, stop moving around.
This don't
bro."
taste like fish,
Yeah, and he said like he felt like the mouth muscles and the tongue and shit moving around too.
bro.
And that
Ew.
he said it was about 30 to 40 seconds, and then the whale just surfaced and he got out.
Bro, that's biblical right there, bro.
Yeah, I know.
He gonna live forever, fool.
No,
Nah, that's not what happened. That's fucking nasty, bro. Hey, speaking of nasty, bro, HPV 5.2. That's like the most expensive STD somebody's ever
wait. So
got.
did Geico have to pay her that, or did the guy?
No, Geico, because he worked for Geico.
Because
and
what if the guy didn't even know he had it?
he worked? I don't know, but he worked for Geico, and
Oh, the guy worked for Geico.
yeah, the guy worked for Geico, and they were like doing it in the fucking
In like one of the cars.
yeah, in one of the
I
luxury.
bet he got
sedans.
fired.
Yeah, oh shit, yeah, bro. They can't save no 15% on nothing now, bro.
No,
like
bro, that's a no.
$5.2 million, bro.
I
She's
mean, good on her for getting that. I mean,
Yeah,
he'll
high
pay
key,
for
bro.
anything she needs.
she is set, bro.
Doctor's appointments or whatever you need to keep up on that.
That shit's crazy as fuck, man. Hey, wrap it up. Sorry, that was like a reverse burp. Wrap it up, man, for sure, for sure. And that does it for this week's Wanna Argue's weekly news. All right, y'all, let's get down into it, man. The nitty and the gritty, the reason that we're all here. Joey, man, does spankings equate to bad parenting?
Yes, Cedric, I was hit as a child.
Okay.
Oh, you're laughing at my pain?
No, I'm
I'm
not.
just kidding,
bro,
I'm
but
just
I
kidding.
wasn't fucking-
I'm just kidding.
Yes, Cedric, I was hit as a child.
Here's the thing, bro. I'm gonna just say this now
All
before
right.
it gets brought up later.
Hey, PSA.
You see the fucking kids when you go out in public and they just screaming, hitting shit, grabbing shit off of shelves, throwing it on the floor, just freaking out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All I'm saying
those kids need
is
their
if
ass
you
beat.
take that motherfucker home and you tell him what you did out there today was not good, and he's like, "Fuck you, mom," you grab that motherfucker by the back of the neck, you pin him over your knee, you just, "What the fuck did I just say?" I'm just kidding. Sorry, that PTSD came out. But dude, like spanking it, I feel like it's discipline, bro. And you know, everybody agrees and disagrees on different parenting styles and what appropriate discipline is. You got these pacifist pussy parents that are like, for example, they're like, "Timothy, stop hitting your sister in the face with your fist." And he keeps doing it. "Timothy, I said stop hitting your..." Okay, your sister's dead. This is your fault. You know what I mean? Instead of
bro.
like, "Timothy, stop." If he doesn't stop, you just grab that motherfucker and you just,
Shake him.
you know, maybe 2 spanks on the ass.
Right.
When I was in Taekwondo, I would do stretches. And there's a stretch where you lay on your stomach, you pull your fucking legs, and you're like a bow or like a U.
Yeah.
And you're stretching is your arms and your chest, your thighs, whatever the fuck, right? Your stomach for some reason. And when we would do these stretches, we would have to hold it. And my Taekwondo instructor, the great, rest in absolute peace, this absolute legend, Tiger. I miss him every day.
R.I.P., bro.
Yes. He would walk around with a wooden block. And in Taekwondo, you don't wear shoes or socks on the mats.
Yeah.
And if you weren't stretching like how he wanted you to, he would smack you in the bottom of the foot with the wooden block. And he would say a joke. He would look at the parents and he would go, "You always hit them on the bottom of the foot because nobody can see it."
For real?
Yes, dude. That guy,
Bro,
the Tiger was amazing, man.
That is hilarious, bro.
But it's like, personally, I believe spanking is okay to a certain extent. There is a very, 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 very thick fucking line
So
from where it goes from spanking to just abuse.
where's that line drawn?
I don't know. Choking, body slamming, kicking in between the legs, backhanding and sending them flying across the room. Yes, these are things that happen to me, but I can just look at these things and be like, okay, I don't think you should be doing this to your kids. You know what I mean? And also too, I'm sorry, like, okay.
I'm sorry, bro. Like I didn't mean to laugh, bro. Like the backhand and flying across the room got me, bro.
No, there
like,
was
that shit is.
it was like
like holy shit.
It was a thing where I was you know, you're elementary school, you get those pictures taken of you for the class photos or whatever. You get them solo shots where, like, for me, I was in my
proof on it.
Yeah, I was wearing my Spider-Man shirt, my long sleeve Spider-Man shirt, and I had a fishing pole, and I had it over my arm, and you had your arm rested like this, and I was like, you know, I was smiling.
That's clean.
And so my pops, we got them, and you know, on the back of them, he was like, "We're gonna give this to your grandmother," and he told me exactly what to write, right? And dude, I was probably like first grade, just stupid, you know, could barely write my fucking name, right, without fucking it up, putting a capital letter in there somewhere randomly, you know? And instead of writing to grandma and grandpa, I wrote to like grandma and grandma. I just fucked up one letter. And my dad, you know, we kind of, it's past me and my dad, our relationship. It's like, it's past us. It happened when I was a kid. It's just personally how I dealt with it. I mean, I'm just going to be honest and vulnerable with the listeners. Sometimes, you know, it fucks me up if I think about it too hard. But, you know, the last couple of years, you know, my relationship with my pops is different now. You know, we're older. And luckily for me, I've been able to kind of move past it a little bit. What happened when we were kids.
Yeah. Do you still feel like some type of way as an adult?
That's not what we're talking about today.
Okay.
So
it was part of the episode.
It's we'll get there when we get there. And so I fuck up, and as I fuck up, I look over and I'm like, it's coming. You can always kind of, if you're in a situation where your pops or your mom is a little bit abusive, you can kind of feel when shit's about to erupt.
Go south.
And he was like, "What is that?" And I was like, bro, he starts fucking yelling at me. And then I just catch the hardest backhand, and I'm like, oosh. I just go flying, and I land on like this metal rack that like my moms would use to dry towels and shit indoors. I was busting my shit on that. So I'm only saying all this to say, first of all, maybe not writing something correctly with a permanent marker isn't a justification to spank your kid or backhand them.
Especially when they're in the first grade. Bro.
Yeah,
like,
but there's like a very, very like thick line of like spanking for discipline and just straight up beating your kid. I mean, my mom, you know, she's Korean, so we had interesting ways of discipline. If we would fuck up really bad, we would get put in the corner. And I remember being in the corner sometimes. I'm crying so hard. I got snot coming out my mouth. I'd make the corner wet, bro. Because I'm like, I don't want to be in the corner anymore. He's crying and shit. Sometimes if we really fucked up with my mom, she would get a big bowl that she would use to mix kimchi in. And if you're Korean, you know those bowls are fucking huge.
That bitch is big.
And she would fill it up with water, and she would make me kimchi squat in a corner and hold the bowl over my head.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And
that's
you know,
like a reasonable fucking like.
Yeah, it's also
punishment.
super Asian.
I get it, bro. Like, but it's more like it's better than causing like physical harm. I think.
I mean, yeah, and it's enough to kind of push you and be like, you know what?
I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do what I did again
Fuck no.
because that sucks.
My mom had to get really creative with our punishments because,
Really?
like, yeah, because there was a point in time where like she didn't like want to hit us anymore or anything like that. So, but like. Me having the fucking active imagination that I does, like she would put me in the corner, I'd be having the fucking blast in the corner, bro. Like fucking making my hands fight each other and shit.
Fuck
like,
yeah, bro.
I'm like, oh, and she's like, you know what, fuck that. Like, you're not gonna get in the corner no more. But like, she didn't want to hit me, so she had to figure out what it was that would like really get under my skin. And at the time, I was not a big fan of jelly, bro. Like, jelly was like the worst shit on the planet, bro. Texture, taste, like it was just so. I mean, as an adult, I love
Bro,
it.
apple, you know what's low key a banger?
Bro,
apple jam.
That's just fantastic.
Okay, but I'm sorry.
That's just fantastic, bro. But like, what she would do was like, because I would eat peanut butter sandwiches, like that would be my shit because I didn't like jelly, bro. She would make me a sandwich. Bro, the biggest glob of fucking jelly. And she would make me eat that shit like.
That's kind of fun.
You better, like, you know, like on those movies and shit, it's like, well, you're not getting up from the table to eat your vegetables.
Yep.
Bro.
Yep.
I was not moving until that every last bit of that sandwich is gone, bro. And like, even if we fell asleep at the table, bro, it's like, you wake up, you better fucking eat. Like,
bro, no, when I was
that
growing
shit used
up,
to be crazy.
my family, I had 5 sisters, so there's 7 of us in a house at one point. And so my pops, he loved Papa John pizza. So we always get these fucking pizzas, and he would get pepperoni, ham and pineapple for my sisters, a cheese, and then a supreme pizza. You'd probably get like 2, and then 5. He would get a meat pizza. And I love the pepperoni and the meat pizza, bro. That meat lovers,
Yes, sir.
you know, I mean, damn, bro, that shit hit every single time, right?
Fucking savory as hell.
And so I'd only be eating the meat lovers, and my dad would open up the supreme one and throw it down. For those of you listening, I hate onions still to this day. I can't eat an onion. Onion powder I fuck with. If I'm in a type of mood, some diced onion that you can't really feel. If for some reason it's just onions, like the texture and the crunch, especially, I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? I hate it. And my dad would sit one down. He said, you don't get any other pizzas until you eat one of these. We have to keep it even for everybody. And I'd sit there, bro, and I'd be like, I'm not eating pizza, bro. I'm not eating no more pizza tonight, bro. And sometimes we'd be eating like fajita. My mom would make fajitas, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Mom. Korean people have no fucking business making fajitas. Bro, just stop it. I love my mama. I love when she
bro, that is hilarious.
My mom make the best Korean food on planet Earth. I love mama cooking.
I bet she could fry some chicken.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bro.
She's smacked down, bro. But when you tell my Asian ass mom to make fajitas, it's like, what the fuck is this shit, bro? It's wet. It's like chicken water with seasoning, bro. And you're just like, bro, what the
Bro,
fuck?
I am dead.
So
that
anyway,
is hilarious. onions.
She would put hella onions. I could eat bell peppers. I love a bell pepper, bro. I'll slam down on a jalapeno bell pepper, but it was the onions. And I would pick out the onions before I would eat, bro. And my dad, I always had to sit next to my dad at the table, and he would just be like,
Why?
you're not done eating. So, okay.
Just like a sign.
I should do
what everybody said.
Not really, but I always had to sit next to my dad. My dad is retired military. He was raised military. My grandfather, you know, rest in peace again. My late grandfather, he was a colonel in the military. But as far as I knew, my gramps never hit my dad or my aunts anything like what we got when we were kids growing up. My dad, he would get spanked, he would get disciplined, but my grandpops, he never did wouldn't even think about doing half of the shit that my dad did to us growing up. And so I guess it's just my dad's reaction to the military, or, you know, I don't know. I never really got into his brain or try to think, I mean, sometimes, but why he did the shit that he did. But he was very like, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You don't talk when I'm talking to you. Like, he was just super like strict with a bunch of shit. And he always had me sit next to him. And so fucking elbows on the table, he get a fork and poke you in the fucking elbow if your elbows are on the table, right? It's just little shit like that, bro. And I always sat next to the motherfucker, so I can never get away with shit, okay? So, like, I'm picking out these fucking onions. My dad don't like that I'm picking out the fucking onions. He make my ass sit at that fucking table until the onions were gone. Cedric, I'm not kidding you, bro. Family's in the living room watching TV. No one's in the kitchen. I'm just sitting there, bro. And you know what I did? I got those onions off my plate. I threw them in the corner in the kitchen. And I looked at my dad. I was like, I ate them. And he was like, you can go. But, like, that's just the type of shit, you know?
You should throw onions in the kitchen?
I don't give a fuck. Fuck you for making me try to eat those fucking onions, bitch.
Bro, you couldn't throw them in the trash like a normal person?
My dad would check the trash. I'm telling you, he's low-key kind of psychotic, but like my dad would like check the trash for shit.
See,
like,
I would have flushed him down the toilet. That's the kind of kid I was.
Oh yeah, let me just have a handful of onions because you know my mama, she ain't put a.
That was me, bro. Like, as a kid, that was me. It was by any means necessary, bro. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. So and just getting back to it, you know, it's. I feel like discipline is extremely necessary because discipline forms you. And especially it's like you get discipline on your parents' values. What your parents see is right and wrong. Right. So you kind of the discipline almost as a child growing up, you get veered into the thought processes of what's right and wrong as your parents as you're growing up. Because you get disciplined. Now, obviously, when you get older, you know, or even while you're getting disciplined, you can still veer in like what you like and what you personally think is right. For example, like I got hit a lot when I was a kid. And so now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, you shouldn't abuse your kid. You can spank them. And this is coming from someone that got like literal ass whoopings growing up. And I feel like discipline is okay because even looking back on it, I can tell in my brain if I got spanking or I got disciplined because of something, you could kind of look back on it and be like, okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't the best idea. I got an ass whooping one time because I drew, not only once, I drew on my sister's door because they wouldn't let me in. Because my sisters would hang out, they wouldn't let me in their room. So I drew with a pencil. I drew one of them all fucked up and wrote the name. And then I was really pissed off, so I got a marker, a permanent marker from my dad's office and drew over it in permanent marker. And I got, now, an ass whooping, is that deserving of an ass whooping? No, you should never beat your kid's ass. But a spanking there, it's like, okay, yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that.
I feel
you know what I mean?
But do you think that discipline, I mean, cut you off, but
no,
do you
you're
think
fine.
that discipline is always physical?
No, you can take your kid's shit away. I've gotten, you know, video games taken away from me. I used to draw a lot as a kid. I used to play with action figures a lot as a kid. And if I fucked up in school or I fucked up around the house, it was more my mom that would take shit away from me, not my dad. My dad was more the physical. My mom was the one, she'd take shit away from you. Or my mom loved to do this thing. And I'm pretty sure listeners or viewers, if you have Asian parents, I'm more than 100% sure they've done the same shit. If my mom got mad at me or I got in trouble, she would clean my room. Now, when my mom cleans my room, she throws everything away. I had a card. Okay. One thing when I was growing up, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! I never played it. I just collected the cards. I just liked it. Right? I had so many first edition, cards and like starter packs that like I didn't open, right? Because extended family, they buy you gifts and shit. Even as a kid, I was like, I want these Egyptian god cards, but I'm not gonna open them when I get them, because I already have a set that I have. And
Right.
I mean, sometimes I duel with homies growing up. I fucked up in school. Basically, when I was at school, bro, there's this chick that I was talking to in middle school, and in middle school you pass notes,
Yeah.
right? I wrote this note. I said, this teacher is a fat bitch. Fuck her. She's a fucking cunt. Like as a kid.
That's your ass, Mr. Postman.
So not only because we had the same teacher but different periods.
Yeah.
So she knew all day. I had her like towards the end of the day, like one of the last periods.
The teacher knew all day?
The teacher knew all day. I get to her class right when class starts. She goes, Joey, can I speak to you in the hallway? I got that tingly feeling in the back of my neck. I said, I'm fucked
up,
bro. She calls my mom. She hands me her phone. She says, can you put in your mom's phone number? All right, like a bitch, by the way. So I put in the phone number. She calls. I call it. Hello, is this Miss Christopher? Hi, Miss Christopher. I just like to tell you that, because she didn't tell me what was going on. She just handed me the phone. So she goes, I'd just like to tell you that your son, he wrote a note to another classmate and he had some very rude things to say about me. I hear my mom yelling on the phone. I'm standing right next to her. I hear it on the phone. What? You know what? What? She's fucking screaming. And I'm going to hand the note and the phone to your son. She makes me read the note to my mom, bro.
In front of the teacher?
We were in the hallway. It was just me and her, and I'm reading it. I'm crying. Miss McCarthy is a pig, bitch.
Hey, yo,
I'm crying, bro.
Dead.
Oh, fuck, bro.
Yo, that is hilarious,
bro. Because I was like, she's a pig, bitch. She's fat. She's ugly. She's old.
Did
like
you
I
hate
was.
her?
Huh?
Did you hate her?
Fuck yeah, I hated her, bro. I hated her even more after that, bro. I was despised. So anyway, when I got home, because even though I fucked up with that note and she caught me, right? I didn't get any disciplinary action from the school. All she did was call my mom. Right. So I get home and I'm scared as fuck getting off the bus, bro.
Bro,
I get in the house and I'm like looking when I open the door and close it. Don't see my mom. My dad's still at work. And I'm like, okay. And I go in my room. My room is spotless clean. But she threw away my action figures. She threw away my drawing supplies. She threw away my Yu-Gi-Oh cards and my manga. She threw all that shit away.
Bro, that's a different kind of discipline right
I lost first edition cards that are probably worth like a lot of money now. And there's another time where
before you
go my bad.
Before you go into that, bro. would you rather have gotten physically disciplined or would you rather have like your stuff thrown away at that time?
I know this is fucked up to say, but I feel like I gained a pretty good pain tolerance because of what I went through as a kid. Because even like there are some times where I get ass whoopings from my dad, and as I'm getting hit and shit, I'm like, all right, he's kind of holding back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Dude, you can laugh at it. It's okay. I'm
sorry,
older.
bro. That's just.
I mean, yeah, it's funny how I'm saying it.
Oh my god!
But like this is when I was growing up. I feel like, and also too, not to veer off too much.
Yeah.
Parts of me aren't. I'm not saying that I'm glad I got the shit beat out of me sometimes by my dad growing up, but it's like I feel like I wouldn't be the person that I am today. Like, now there's some shit that I feel like came from it. I've never spoken to a therapist about any of this, but I feel like how critical of a thinker I am. I overthink everything to a point where it'll like stress me out.
Yeah.
I'm super. Cedric pointed this out to me when me and him got reunited when I moved to Dallas. I'm a pessimist. I think negative before positive in almost every situation.
Very much so. But I always tell him like it's a curse and a blessing, because it's like a blessing because all right, yeah, you're preparing for the worst just in case. But
I find comfort in that.
Fucking takes that shit to the next level, bro. It's gonna catch on fire. I'm like, well, where did you get that from? Where did you get that shit from?
It's like my thought process is this: I know the worst case scenario.
Yeah. I
can't get fucked up by it because I already know what the worst thing is, so I know how to avoid it, or like if it's gonna happen, okay, I can prepare myself for it. There's probably, if there's a therapist or something listening to this, or someone that works in mental health, they're like, dude, you need to come. You need to come
see me.
Why are you laughing at this shit? This is awful.
Right. I probably need to go too. That's crazy. That's funny. Like,
and so, but it kind of formed me. Like, I feel like maybe my sense of humor, or my dad beat the humor into me or something, or
They say the funniest people go through some crazy
yeah,
shit,
you're
bro.
some trauma, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, it's kind of where I was getting with that. Is kind of like, I don't even know the type of person that I would be if like I was raised by just like my pops, and a lot of shit that went down didn't happen. Like, I really do not know, like, at all.
I'm kind of glad that it didn't. Well, on the surface, like it didn't it didn't necessarily make you a bad person, or
Well,
kind of turn you into what you don't want to be, because in some researches it's like people react to different, like it's called a trauma limit or something, like trauma tolerance or some shit, to where it's like you can go through some shit that, like, if somebody else went through it can completely like fuck them up, like completely, to where they kind of turn into that, then their relationships go through the same loop. And so when I was doing research for this, there's so much research that shows, or that says, you shouldn't hit your kids because it could cause a negative effect on you. However, 81% of parents, Americans being, the study, 81% of them say that they believe that spankings are okay. Like, yeah, fucking discipline your kid. And then you have those people where it's like, well, discipline isn't always hitting your kid. So my question is, why do you think there's such a disparity between parental opinion and what people who research say?
So before I answer, I do want to comment on what you said,
Okay,
because I don't want to offend anybody.
talk to me.
It is very true what you said. People react to this shit, what happens to them, very differently.
Right.
I'm not going to go into specifics with my sisters, but my sisters got it just as bad as I did. And so talking to them, they each feel so differently about my dad. Because for me, even though I went through everything that I did with him, I have so much empathy for him, because like everybody hates him and he's like grumpy old fuck, and they're like, fuck you, dad, and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I feel bad for him because he's getting that sort of energy, even though he did to us what he did to us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I agree. Like, there's some people that I've talked to in the past that went through a lot worse than I did, and I got it pretty bad. That's when you start getting into like more of like, and this is just a part of it, but like sexual abuse when they were children and stuff like that by their families.
Yeah.
And so and how they're able to handle it, and they comment on like, it's crazy that you talk about it with your dad, because like this is what happened to me, and like when I think about it, I shut down. It's just how my fucking brain and my mental handles it. It's almost like I'm like accepting of it because I can laugh at it. If I wasn't able to laugh at it, or like, I mean, it still fucks me up sometimes when I think about it, because it was horrible. But it's like, if you're able to
be there to tell the story.
Huh?
So if you're able to be there to tell the story, that's kind of half the battle.
Sure, yeah. But some people, like I said, they can't even think about it without getting fucked up. So
yeah,
I just wanted to put that out there, because like it can be kind of shocking and jarring, especially if you went through something and you're listening to it and you're
trigger
like,
warning. Yeah,
you're like, dude, like, how can you say this? Because it's just how I deal with it. I continue to deal with it.
Yeah.
I laugh at everything. It's like the best medicine for me is just laughing at a bad shit that happens to me, all the time.
Yeah.
But so moving on. So what was your question?
No, you're good, man. You're good. I feel like I was gonna have to. So basically, we talked about the research that people have done.
Yes.
Don't. So I just wanted to see, like, why do you think there's such a disparity, or like such a contrast between what parents like think is good discipline versus like what researchers say is good discipline? Because 81% of American parents think, yeah, spank your kids. But like, if you look it up, should you spank your kids? A slew of that shit is like, no, you shouldn't, because this, that, and other. Like, your kids can grow up to like hate you, or grow up to self-harm, and all these negative aspects. But nobody says anything about like the kids who were like okay, that got disciplined physically, and like that their parents didn't necessarily spare the rod.
So let me answer your question by asking you a question.
Sweet.
Do you, based off of what you happened to you growing up,
Yeah.
do you personally believe that a spanking can be justified as discipline?
Yes.
And would you agree that that's your fucking preference?
Of discipline?
Yes.
No.
No, not preference of discipline. It's just your opinion on the matter.
Oh, on the matter?
It's not a solid justification, yes or no. It's just
Yeah.
your opinion on the matter.
I think if it does result to that, I don't think it should be the very first step.
But if it's deemed necessary by you, by your own personal
Right.
vindication,
Yeah.
that it can occur.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I also think. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead. You got more to it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you just said is how shit should be. There's a very hard in between of you should spank your kids and you shouldn't spank your kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My answer to that question is if you're a parent, you were raised by your parents.
Right.
Or maybe you're raised on the streets, or maybe you were raised by step parents who aren't your actual parents. But you got into that point because of what happened to you in your life, regardless of discipline or not.
Right.
Okay? I'm not bullshitting you. The hard line could possibly be because some people on this side were hit when they were kids or spanked as they were kids and they're like, nah, fuck this shit. Or some people, right, were hit as kids and they maybe made a little bit of a realization, like, you know what, these spankings, like, they really do kind of just make you be like, all right, like, fuck, I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
But it ultimately comes down to the parent's jurisdiction. Is what my kid did, is a spanking justifiable?
Right.
But it's also a fucking preference. It's also your fucking personal, like, I think it's okay or I think it's not.
Yeah.
Bottom line, end of the day. When
Yeah, at the
my
end of the
stance
day.
on this shit is it's okay, but abuse is not.
Right. But saying that, it's like insinuating that the discipline side of it, because we're doing discipline versus abuse, right?
Yes.
Saying that is kind of insinuating that discipline is just physical. It's like always physical. And that's what I was trying to get at before, is like
I can agree to that.
Well, no,
but
because like you said it yourself, like your mom used to take away your shit, throw it away.
that's discipline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's discipline. So like discipline isn't always physical. Like I'm not always gonna put my hands on you.
Yes.
And what I was getting at is there should always be steps before you result to just hauling off and like, now granted some things just I'm sorry, some things you just gotta nip that shit in the bud. Like if your kid's stealing, especially like not to bring race in this thing, but I got to, like, especially if you're like a fucking minority and like your kid's stealing and shit, bro. The reason why I like my mom had me when she was young, so like yeah, like we used to get hit, like, you know what I mean, but it wasn't like, well, to us, I don't know, it depends on who you're asking, but for her,
ask me later. I'll tell
for
you.
her sake, it was more like I gotta do this so that because my punishment is far less severe than like what the world's punishment could be for you doing that out there.
Mhm.
Like if I get caught stealing in my mom's house, yeah, she can beat my ass, put me in punishment, but at the end of the day, I still got food. You know what I'm saying? Like I still got somebody who loves me. But if I'm out in the fucking world and I'm stealing from people, I can either get killed or end up in jail, getting like, you know what I'm saying, like getting killed and shit. So it's just more like you can let them touch the stove, like don't let them touch the stove because they're gonna burn their hand. But if they don't know that the stove's hot, then they might go out there and do that shit anyway and then fuck up the shit, metaphorically.
Because even while we're talking about it, like things that we do that justify spankings,
Yeah.
it's always like some, not severe, but it's like some shit where you're like, do not do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
do not.
And there's a lot of
do this
people
shit.
who think that line doesn't exist. It's more like, nah, you should always be able to talk to your kids and things of that sort. But you remember Coach Jordan, R.I.P. She didn't believe in hitting her kids at all.
Sure.
Like ever. And I remember running into them at the mall once, and bro, her kids were like really like well behaved. They were fucking like well mannered and all that shit. So
I mean, I didn't live with Coach Jordan, but I knew of her and I've been around her. She's like, that's just shows how good of a person she was. I like barely knew her, but she gave off such a strong impression of me that she's caring.
Yeah.
Like that's like all of her fucking athletes and stuff, like
Mhm.
student athletes loved her because she was always there for them.
She was, bro. And
Yeah.
I remember us having this conversation like when I had her class back in the fucking high school. She was saying how she didn't believe in like hitting her kids. And I remember running into them at the mall and I'm like, damn, that's like
They were on
damn.
leashes.
Yeah, they're like real they're like real like mannered, like well mannered and everything. So like it works. It works to not have to. And I think it all boils down to that trauma again. But if you're in certain conditions where you can't afford your kid to be out here doing this because the world's not gonna be as fucking kind to you with you doing that kind of shit. Sometimes you gotta do that, bro. You gotta be like, you know, how many times? Well, I don't know. Like I've heard, this hurts me more than it hurts you because sometimes like
Never heard
parents don't. I've heard that. Bro. That's why I was like,
Never
I
heard
had to
that.
bite my tongue.
You know what I heard?
This isn't funny. This isn't funny.
Separate the clothes by colors.
Yo, my mom was more like, this hurts me more than it hurts you. And I didn't understand that shit as a kid. I'm like, how? Like, you whooping my ass, bro. Like, what do you mean? And then I got older and I'm like, as I got to navigate the world around me, I'm like, yeah, dude, there's certain shit that I was doing as a kid that if I did just out and about, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now, bro. Like, or, in the ground or some shit, bro.
Let's
That'd
play
be
a game,
crazy.
Cedric.
What's up, bro?
I'm going to give you two options.
All right.
You tell me which one is more severe than the other.
Oh, my God. All right, let's do it. I'm with it.
Taking your sister's Barbie doll.
Okay.
Taking your sister by the back of her head and smacking her across the face.
Well, that seems like a no-brainer.
Which one is it?
Which one's more severe?
Which one is more severe?
Slapping your sister.
Okay. Next example.
Okay.
Taking a cookie from the cookie jar.
Okay.
Taking the cookie jar and throwing it across the room at the wall and shattering it.
Just a little gray area there.
Okay. Taking a cookie from the cookie.
Say, like, it really just depends on what the instructions were at the beginning. Because if I told y'all ass not to touch this damn cookie, but you throw this shit across.
But not
the room,
only are you taking,
I guess you took it out and you threw it in my fucking.
So which one is more severe?
So yeah, I guess the throwing the cookie jar across the room is more severe.
And the last one I'm gonna ask you, okay? Cheating on your homework.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really have a hard contrast for that one.
Cheating on your homework?
Yeah, cheating on your homework versus, I don't know, punching your sister in the mouth. Sure.
What is up with this, bro?
I'm just the only reason.
Okay. Fucking punching your sister in the mouth.
The only reason I'm saying this,
yeah,
is because on the left we had things that you could agree with me, or just like, okay, they're like kids being defiant,
right?
Versus kids being
like fucking
like what we said before, like one of those like you should not be fucking doing that. Right. And so
how do you draw the if you didn't believe in like physically harming your kids or physically like disciplining your kids, how do you discipline that kind of action?
It comes down to parenting and how you're able to handle it. My sister, her and her husband just had their little baby boy,
Uncle Joey.
Okay. And so especially when she was pregnant with him, I would ask her like all the time, like, do you think that your son is going to be able to grow up and kind of like be close with siblings if you have more kids, or not act like a complete shitter without you guys, like, without having to go through like what we went through when we were kids? And she looked at me and she just goes, yeah, dumbass. I'm like, okay. Like,
I mean, she's right though.
But what she followed up with, and she was like, because me and my husband are going to raise him. And so I feel like it could come down to parenting. Yeah. Right? How are you going to react? Because parenting, I feel like, especially when it comes to discipline, it's how you react. How you react is sometimes more important than how you act.
100%, bro. Because some kids, like we were just talking about, some kids were just doing kid shit. Mm-hmm. And like, you can't really like blame somebody for that. So like, do you think that discipline has a purpose? And if so, what is that purpose, do you think? I mean, that seems like a fucking no
No,
brainer
yeah.
question, but like I want to know what you think about it.
It's just discipline, in my opinion. It's being used. It's an enforcement to stop certain types of actions or activities that are being done by, let's
So
just
like
for this example, children.
to decipher from right, like what you want your kid to know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I stated that earlier. It's like
Right.
you're kind of like guiding. Me and you have been kind of guided on a path growing up from what we've been disciplined for and what we got away with.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, would it be more effective to let kids figure that shit out on their own?
I feel like that's when they get older.
Oh, so like, wait, what? How about like, what age do you think?
I mean, when they're moving out and they're living on their own, that's when you really hit that point of like life searching, or you get into situations when you're older and you're not living with mom and dad anymore, and you fuck up and you're the one that has to fix it instead of your parents.
Should parents get more creative with their disciplinary acts?
More creative.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if creative is a proper way of handling discipline. I think it's more, and it's hard for me to speak on this because I don't have kids. The most I
True.
had was my sister's dog.
Mhm.
And when it barks, I tell it to shut the fuck up. Okay. I'm not perfect when it comes to like, I don't have a kid. I don't plan on having one. So it's
Right.
like, I don't really know like the proper way of to go about it because I've never been in the situation. It's very situational. I feel like once you're not going to know how you're going to react or what you're going to do until it happens to you. That's just what I feel like. So example, my little nephew, bro, I would joke around with my sister all the time and be like, what you doing when you catch him wanking it for the first time?
I don't think that's like that's more of like a talk about anatomy and shit.
Yeah.
That's more like, I don't think that deserves like discipline unless you're one of those like super fucking really.
Stop!
You're sitting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we
Fucking
can just kind of like jump ahead then. So it's sort of the parents that are able to find good alternatives, not necessarily good, because I don't want to say hitting is better than not hitting.
What should be the steps?
I mean, it's all reactionary. So it's how you approach your kid
react
about
out
it,
of anger though,
or
all the
even
time.
or even what the discipline is if it's not a spanking,
Right?
Because if you're dealing with something severe,
Mhm.
like for example, I pulled my sister's hair and I smacked her across the face. If I see my kid doing that, metaphorically, I'm moving the sister out the situation and I'm grabbing my little boy and I'm looking at him. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? And then he's going to go over my knee and I'm going to hit him once for the sister and I'm going to hit him 600 times for what he did. Okay?
Yeah, that's cute.
I'm obviously kidding, not 600 times, but like, even as my mom would spank us, but
Yeah.
my mom's discipline was mental and physical, because my mom, this one time, I got on my knees and put my arms over chairs, 2 kitchen chairs. Before this, she made me go outside to our backyard and grab a little thin branch.
Little switch.
Little
We call
thin-
it a
yes.
switch. We call it a switch.
She would make me count in Korean
Oh, that's fantastic.
after every single hit. And the first time she did it to me, I only had to count to dul, which is 2. Whoosh, hara, whoosh, dul, right? And then after, when I'm crying, she would wipe the tears off my face and she'd be like, the next time you do this, you're going to count even more. And rest assured, the next time I fucked up,
that 2 turned to 6.
that 2, yep, depending on what you do, that 2 would turn to 35, but you know what I mean?
That's funny. As
So, and I feel like, how do you react to something that's severe? It has to be mental.
shit. Yeah.
You have to figure out a way to get in your kid's head and make them understand that what you did is not correct and sort of have that enforcement behind it.
Yeah.
If you don't have some sort of physical touch involved with it, because it basically, with the spanking, what it comes down to is pain.
Yeah.
You don't want to have that feeling ever again. So you're going to avoid it.
Is that capital punishment?
What?
I know that's a read.
Jesus,
I'm
Cedric.
sorry. I'm sorry. Can you look up the definition of capital punishment real quick?
Yeah.
So, I got into an argument with this chick on Twitter about that.
Oh god.
Because I was definitely like, yeah, I'm like, pro spanking your kids or whatever. You just don't cross the line.
hmm
And they were like, that's capital punishment. You're inflicting pain and things of that sort. So like, it was a reach, but like at the same time, I had to think about the definition, and I wanted to see what you thought. But to go back on what you said, I know like I jumped the gun a little bit. But
No,
to
you're
go
fine.
back to what you said, my pops was kind of like that. Like he disciplined us physically, but at the same time, afterwards, after you got your tears wiped and shit, or really after you sat in your room for a little bit and cried it out, he'd come back in. He let you know. He let you know like what. He let you know like what you did wasn't right, and like this is what we got to do, and you're better than that. Basically, like it's like you get the discipline, you get your ass beat, and then it's like a build up because like you gotta understand why I did it.
While you're broken.
Yeah, I gotta understand why I did it, and then you gotta understand that you're better than that, and let's not do it again.
Yeah.
So, and then I think if all those things are connected, then tight.
See, when I would get it by my pops, and then he'd be like, "Go to your room."
What the fuck? Okay, so this is definitely not the definition I was thinking of, but
It's
Kaput.
It's the capital
Wow.
punishment is usually referred to when talking about like the death penalty.
So
That's
it's like an
fucking
end all
crazy.
be all. Is basically what I'm thinking she's trying to use it as. that
yeah, she was,
definition.
but it was basically,
Or maybe she's trying to
it
be
was
all
like,
politically there and
she
doesn't know
was-
what she's saying.
It was something about like physical, like inflicting physical pain or some shit. Like
Sure.
that's what was that's what she was running with as far as like the definition goes. And I was like, damn, Phil, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Because I thought it was a reach too. Because I'm like, no, you're not fucking. Like you're not abusing your kid if you don't want them to do certain things. And my whole thing is, bro, you can't do that shit when you're growing up. Like it's a whole different. That's where I stand. Like all of my siblings got it. We're all doing pretty good. Not to
Sure.
say that people who got it the same or worse aren't like. are
Everybody
still-
reacts to it differently.
They're probably
when they get
doing-
older.
Yeah, they're probably doing some fucking crazy shit right now. But for us, man, it was like you got your ass beat, but you understood why we did it.
Mm-hmm. So we've been talking a lot about this now. Okay, I've been talking a lot about my personal stories for these two guys' enjoyment, for the listeners' enjoyment. Laugh with me about what happened to me. Cedric even gave some examples, but everything that we talked about, for the most part today, was physical. So enough of the physical, Cedric.
Okay.
I don't want to be touched. Okay, don't touch me.
I don't want to be touched.
Yeah, I don't want to be touched.
Right.
So let's just take what's something that a kid, I'm talking like first, second grade, can do that in your opinion is justifiable with the spanking.
Is justifiable with
Is
this?
justified with the spanking.
Dude, that's
We just need one example because you'll see what I'm gonna get to. But
Right.
just something that you can think of off the top of your head. If a first or second year old does this at home, they're gonna get spanked. If you need help, I could toss one. Toss my salad.
Wait, don't don't give me an answer yet. But there's like there's a gray area there, especially like that young.
So you saying it's like what you personally think versus
No,
what is
like
actually there?
no, bro. Like if you break something, or it really just depends on the information that you received beforehand, and like your understanding of right and wrong. Because like as a kid, bro, especially that age, like we're still fucking exploring the world like around us, bro. Like we still are
One ass whooping at a time.
We're still fascinated, exactly. Like we're still fascinated by like how red the stove gets, even though like our parents like don't fucking touch it, get out of the kitchen. And then that one time they're not in the kitchen, the stove's on, we're like, psst, psst. Like for me, bro, when I was younger, I know this is gonna sound crazy as shit, but when I was younger, like I had a thing where like the irons that you iron your clothes with. Hold on, the irons that you iron your clothes with, right, bro? I used to love waking up at night and then like they would be like cold, like ice cold, bro. And I used to love touching them. I'm like, oh, this feels so fucking good.
Put it on your
And
balls.
my mom used to tell me like, stop fucking doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like, stop touching it. I don't give a fuck if it's on. Stop doing that. Woke up one night, bro. Everybody was asleep. I'm like, ooh, about to touch this iron, bro. I touched that hoe full like fucking sizzling, bro. I fucking scream. My mom gets up. She's like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, hands burning and shit, blistered and shit. She like wraps it up. She's like, I told your ass not to fucking do it. Like, and then it clicked. I'm like, listen to your fucking parents, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but I don't have anything that necessarily like at that age that just warrants a fucking ass whooping off rip. It really just I'm a firm believer that steps need to be taken, and you really have to assess what the kid like. You have to assess the kid. The kid isn't the same as other kids. Your kids, if you have kids, aren't going to be the same as you were when you're growing up,
Exactly.
and vice versa. They'll have our same tendencies. They'll probably walk like us, talk like us, and shit like that.
Look like us.
Yeah, but like think about the things that we all do in the world the same, like driving, dating. But it's like the little differences. You might drive 10 and 2. You might drive 9 and 3. I might drive with one hand. You know what I'm saying? We still doing the same shit. It's just the subtle differences. So you really have to study your kid, which I think is a part of parenting as well. Because if you understand that your kid gets frustrated really easily, it's not healthy to be like, stop fucking getting, chill out. Because like, yo, your kid's trying to process these emotions. So like you adding more shit to it is not going to help, you know? So I think that comes with it as well.
So not to just completely throw out the
My
window
bad, that
what
was
you
a
just
mouthful.
said.
But like,
no,
go
because
ahead.
no, I mean you brought up a lot of good points with that. Parents, evaluate your kid. See how your kid reacts to types of punishment that aren't physical. But for this example, when I was a kid, I wet the bed till I was 13. It's a little bit longer than normal. Okay?
Same.
I'm 25 now. Not a drip comes out this dick unless I wanted to. Okay?
Same.
I'm proud. I don't wet the bed anymore. But growing up, it was a secret. Nobody knew about it except for my family. And it is extremely embarrassing. I don't know the last time you woke up and covered in your own piss, Cedric, but it does not feel good.
It's not.
Especially
bro.
when you don't know how
Especially when
it got
you're all cold and shit, bro. You shivering.
and you smell like piss.
You got piss up to your neck.
Yeah. Wait, you got a little bit of piss on your chin.
My fucking shirts used to be soaked.
Damn, bro, you were taking man pisses.
Bro, I was taking I had to be taking multiple pisses that night. For this. I used to wake up in like puddles. I'm like, Jesus fucking. And my mom would beat my ass up until like I don't know, until she was like, she's like, something's wrong. Like we have to get this looked at. This is not just something I could just whoop your ass for.
Well, for me, it didn't really stop till I started hitting puberty. Because fun fact about me, I was born like 3 months early.
Okay.
I had fucking jaundice. I was like a number 2 pencil coming out of my mom.
You had a jaundice?
No, I had jaundice.
Oh, what is that?
Yellow skin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, my lungs weren't fully dilated when I was born. So I had to be on a breathing machine for like until I was like 5.
Shit.
Yeah, I had asthma for a little bit, but we're good now. And I believed it was my own self-diagnosis that my bladder was kind of small. So it didn't really start getting bigger until I started getting bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn, that makes sense.
I did, bro. I would do everything. I wouldn't drink hours before bed. Like I do all that shit.
That's why I got insomnia now, bro.
Yeah.
I used to stay up. Like if I can't, if I don't go to sleep, I can't pee.
Exactly. So anyway, what I'm getting to is it was a secret. And then when I was a church boy and I was growing up, probably like 15 or 16, I was probably still 13 around this time. I wasn't even in high school yet. I was probably like 6th grade or 7th grade. My little shithead of a sister told people in the same youth group as me, that I used to wet the bed.
That motherfucker.
So, needless to say, spoiler alert, she caught some wrath for that one.
As she should.
So, instead of a spank, because we can both agree it's fucked up.
Right.
Brought up a quick little Google list of alternatives to spanking here, and we'll just kind of go. I'll spitball fire them.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll kind of, if we want to, kind of go in deeper if any of these you think could actually work.
Okay.
Number 1, timeout. Number 2, lost privileges. Number 3, you ignore it. 4, you teach them new skills. 5, logical consequences. 6, natural consequences.
What's that?
And then, logical versus natural. That sounds super preference-y to me.
That sounds weird.
A natural consequence would be
Getting
your
hit by a
mom
car.
telling you not to touch the damn iron, and then you touch the damn iron and you burn your hand.
Oh, so like, what is it called?
And it's like you don't really need to get a spanking for that because you just learned if I touch the thing because you just burned the fuck out of your hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's logical.
I don't know.
Yo, shout out to Jordan, bro. I thought he was parenting 101 over here, bro.
So, in this certain situation, a timeout, I guess, could solve it. Mm-hmm. But timeouts, as you mentioned earlier in the show, you would have a ball during timeout.
That's just me, though.
But that's just you. But every kid is so different, Cedric.
Because my brother hated that shit.
So we go down to the second one, losing privileges. You have to understand your kid as a parent to know what they really fucking like to do in their rooms, to know what they really like to do with their friends or anything like that. My sister, I'm not going to say why she would get her phone taken away all the time, but she would get her phone taken away all the time because my mother and my father both knew that she liked to talk on it. And so she did something that deserved punishment to them. She'd take the phone away. Fuck you. Sometimes take the door away. You don't get a fucking door.
That's wild.
You go after that, you just ignore it. That seems like what a lot of parents seem to do nowadays.
Sorry, but these are some logical consequences.
Doesn't eat dinner, no dessert. Fuck you. I don't like dessert anyway. Like, how does that work? Sorry, go ahead.
Throws toys, time out for toys. Doesn't share toys. You're the last to pick your toy next time. Does a temper tantrum. What? You get to take a nap.
That's real.
What?
No, that's real, bro.
Use potty words. Send child to bathroom. This is stupid.
That's stupid.
This is written by somebody that probably never has had a kid in their life.
Won't take a nap super
early. I mean, some
bedtime.
of these are kind of valid, bro. But some of these are really not.
Is disrespect like is disrespectful to a teacher? Write a note.
Or draw a picture note. And then, but you gotta add more to that. There has to be some humiliation there.
So
I feel like that's kind of what like logical consequences. It's like it's like something like related to what.
Yeah. Like okay, like the crime fits, like punishment fits the crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like a punishment fits the crime. Like if you were rude to your teacher and like you went to that like
me,
like Joey did at the beginning. Joey, yeah, I would have definitely. But see, me as a parent, I would have made you read it out to her. But she already read it. But I would have like made you read it to like a group of people or something. Because like
an apology letter.
Yep.
Yeah. On the morning announcements?
She is the sweetest guy. Fucking read shit.
Yeah, you got me by the back of the collar.
We got an announcement from Joey Christopher.
So it almost sounds like then if you're not doing physical punishment, it's mental.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's the solution.
You have to challenge that shit, bro. Because, I mean, if you just ignore it, they just gonna keep doing this shit. Like how many times you got away with some shit and you just kept doing it because you didn't get caught.
So that's why it's like, does spanking your child mean that you're a bad parent? I cannot agree with that because you could also be a bad parent and not spank your child. Because I've seen it before in public, kids that are running rampant and doing fucked up shit, really just screaming and running around and throwing shit that isn't theirs, and they ignore it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's being a bad parent.
Yeah, bro.
If you spank your kid, or like even this, Cedric, have you been with your mom or your pops in public and maybe you're doing something like you want a toy and they're like, no, you can't get the toy. So you start throwing a temper tantrum, start screaming.
No.
Ah! Right?
No.
Now, I'm not saying you, but I'm just like in the back of your head.
Fuck no, because I know I would fucking get it.
Any situation where you're acting out in public when you're a kiddo, your mom or your pops grabs you and goes, if you don't stop that, I'm taking you to the car. I bet you.
Bro.
You stop.
Hey, my brother, though, like, my brothers, they were notorious for that shit, bro. Because my parents would do the shit where it's like, they would, like, say, like, you were acting up in the store and shit, and you're with them, and they're like, okay. Like, all right, keep going. Like, hey. Fucking push the bets, my boy, because as soon as we leave the store, your ass is mine.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I just sit there like, bro, you don't even understand what's coming to you, dude. You better chill out. So, yeah.
It just kind of feels like overall, because I feel like we kind of, I mean, maybe more emphasis on personal experience on my end of on the conversation this week, just kind of like what happened to me and my opinion on it now since I went through it.
Yeah.
Even though I went through so much, maybe not as much as other people for sure, because there's a lot of people that probably got a lot worse than I did. Mm-hmm. But I kind of, even though I went through all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, I think spanking is okay. If you give them some swats on the butt. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, does it make you a bad parent if you do it? For some reason now it's extremely, extremely, extremely looked down upon, man.
Yeah.
It's like, and it, I hate
But
to
it's
say this.
not, though. Like, it is, but it's not. It was just weird. Like, like in the eyes of the media, it is, but it's not. Like, 81%, that's a fucking big-ass number.
I had a teacher, and he, instead of he told us that like he didn't believe in like spanking his kids either, but he had a really well-behaved kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us is that what he did is when his kid like chose to do something wrong, it's like he would really just sit down with his kid and he would tell his kid like why what he did was wrong.
Right.
And like, this is what you did and this is why it's wrong and this is why you shouldn't do it again. So it's like, because like kind of when you get like a spanking, like nobody's really teaching you like why what you did is wrong. They're just teaching you to be afraid of what you did.
Yeah, I feel you on that, bro.
It's like, so it's like,
And it's different.
It's like, so like at a certain point, like you grow up and you're like, well, I can't get a spanking for it now.
Yeah. You can get a lot worse than the spanking now, bro.
But it's like, it's like what you said, like your mom, it's like, at least she's like told you like, did like its way.
It. Yeah, most definitely.
What are your opinions on what my dad did?
That
shit is fucked
like
up.
To kind of piggyback off of what Jordan said.
Yeah, he literally, what Jordan said in one phrase made everything that I said this episode sound like,
nah, dude, like that's real, bro.
You were
like,
kind of, I was like, oh, okay.
It's kind of weird. I just want to, because that reminded me of something, him saying that. There are kids out here who don't get as much attention as they want. And there are some kids out here who, when they do something bad, they get that attention. Even though it's like negative attention, but they get it. They get fueled off of that shit. I was reading about this some day. So like, I forgot what it's called. But you want that attention, and so you just do bad shit so that people can like pay attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether it's talk to you, discipline you, let you know why that was wrong.
We did talk about that, yeah.
That shit's crazy as hell to think about, bro. So like, that could be like the negative if you're not giving your kids some attention, and then you like you give them attention, and it's just kind of what's like Zealot syndrome, Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, we were talking about it when teaching. How kids act in school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So like, I think that could be the negative behind it for sure. I want to ask you something real quick though, like a couple more questions before we wrap this thing up. We were talking about reactions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you said like spanking doesn't necessarily make you a bad parent,
mm-hmm.
but if you do it out of anger, does it? Like, cause I know you have to check yourself before, because I got friends whose parents never hit them because their parents is like, I'm scared of what I'll do to y'all.
That's really fucked up.
And that sounds crazy as shit. Like, that sounds crazy as shit, but like, at the same time,
I'm not gonna hit you because I'll kill you if
like,
I fucking touch you.
Black out and beat your ass.
Yeah,
like, so it's kind of like weird that they're aware of that shit and they just don't. They choose not to do it for the sake of their kids. But like, what is that?
So, I understand what you're getting at with that.
Yeah.
Okay. But with a lot of shit that we talked about, it comes down to the parent.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Because we can both have our fucking opinions. You should hit your kid. You shouldn't hit your kid. But it just comes down to, it should be the parent's decision. We agree there's a line between spanking and abuse.
Right.
Back in the fucking day, you would get hit in school.
For breathing too hard.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And
like,
that's not even bringing race or anything into it.
People were still getting paddled and shit.
Wait, what did you say to me?
When I was in kindergarten, people were still getting like paddled and shit. I remember that.
I don't think you should get hit in school.
I was not, fool.
I would fight. If you're not my fucking mom or my dad, even though my dad beat me, if you try to touch me, bro, you're getting fought.
My mom was like, I was like 5. My mom was like 19 at the time. Bro, I remember what I was getting in trouble for, but I remember I was getting in trouble with these 3 kids, bro. And they were going one by one to get paddled, dog. It got to me and I caused a fucking scene. Like, I was like, not finna happen.
What the fuck?
They called my mom. Mom was like, you fucking right. That ain't finna happen. I'm like, you damn right, bro. She picked me up with the quickness, dog. That shit was crazy.
Oh, okay. Moms, so you just sparked something there, because even when Jordan was getting to it too, I feel like knowing why what you did is not correct is super important.
Hell yeah.
Because there are a lot of times I got hit really bad and I just was like, where the fuck did that come from?
Like, what did I do?
Yeah, like legitimately.
Yeah,
or
kids
like,
being kids, bro. You can't really like physically discipline kids for just being kids.
Yeah. So bear with me on this one.
I'm tracking.
I was in kindergarten. That's why I remembered it, because you said kindergarten. We had a class sort of hands-on project. We each got our own individual bags. We would get marshmallows. We would get pretzels.
Yeah, that mix was hitting.
M&Ms. And we would put them in Ziploc bags. And we would make like a trail mix.
Yes.
Now, this just shows how fucking stupid I was as a kid, too. So the teacher had us put the pretzels and the M&Ms and the marshmallows and shit, Chex Mix or whatever, into the bag. And then we closed the bag and sealed it. And then the teacher tells us to crumble it up. For some reason, my dumb kid brain couldn't make the connection that I can break everything up through the bag. I kept opening up the bag, reaching my hand in and crumbling the pretzels and stuff up by hand. Because for some reason, I thought that's the only way that you could do it.
Fuck, bro. That's funny.
The teacher, bro, she kept seeing me do, Joey, that's wrong. Don't put your hand in the bag. And I look at her like
you told me to crush it up.
Bitch, you said crush this shit up. I'm crushing it up. And then I look around.
And everybody's doing it differently.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are they doing it like that?
That's stupid.
I stick my hand back in again. Joey, for the last time before I make you change your color, don't stick your hand in the fucking bag, right? She didn't say fucking, but she was like, don't stick your hand in the bag. I went for it again because in my brain, I'm like, this is the only way that they're going to break is if I can't break them through the bag. I have to stick my hand in there and do it. It's the only way. Teach. You know what I mean? And my fucking dumbass stuck my hand in there again. And I had to change the color. Before my parents or because I used to walk home from school. I used to live next to the elementary school that we had. And at the end of the day, because I was pissed. Because at the end of the day, before you go home, while you're walking out of the classroom, the teacher would color your color for the day.
Yep.
Bro, what I did was so bad. The order is green. You fuck up, you go to a yellow. You fuck up, you go to an orange. You really fuck up, you go to a red.
Right.
My dumbass got put on an orange for that shit.
Oh, she made you pull two?
Yes, bro.
Oh, shit.
And so before I go home, she colors it orange and she like gets like face level with me because I'm a little pube, bro. I'm like fucking 2 feet tall or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm in kindergarten. She's like, Joey, I need you to understand why your color is orange. I told you multiple times that is not how you were supposed to be doing. And also on top of that, I didn't get to eat it. She wouldn't let me eat it.
Oh, I'd have been sick.
Yeah. Fucking marshmallows, M&Ms, and pretzels. I was like,
hey, bro, that trail mix slap.
She took my fucking bag from me. I never tasted it to this day. Right? So, yeah, what a...
Bro, I'm going to bring you some.
All right, bro. Like,
I'm going to bring you some next episode.
Me and Jordan's like, you never tasted that shit, bro.
Bro, marshmallows, pretzels, and M&Ms.
It's
yeah.
fucking nice.
So,
Chex Mix, too.
So she told me, she was like, I told you this is not how you do it, and you kept doing it. And that's just it's not correct behavior for you to do it that way. Even though I didn't agree with her, she reinforced it.
Yeah.
And so there's maybe even as a fucking baby, there's a part of me that was like,
you did tell me not to do that.
So this is what happens when I don't listen to people.
But at the same time, bro, like this go like to parents too. Like if you're gonna tell like your kid or somebody like not to do something like a certain way, basically, you gotta tell them the right way to do it.
She was just like, Joey, don't put your hand in there.
Yeah, Joey. She never told me to do it outside the bag.
Like I think it's really important to know like
what's the right way.
Like, well, not that, but like even from like a parenting standpoint, to know why your kid is doing something, because like had she just been like, why are you doing that? You would have been like, this is the only way.
That's how you crush it,
and
right?
she could have been like, no, this isn't the only way. Let me show you how to do it.
You're right.
No, but she was like, you do that again and you're changing your color. And I looked at her like,
oh, you're a fucking ass. I would have been like, pull that shit, you little brat.
She throws a pencil at me.
That's funny as
I mean,
shit.
also, I hate to make this about teachers, but like, when I was in middle school, I was in percussion and I saw a teacher throw a fucking mallet at a student and it hit him in the fucking eye.
Nice.
Because they were fucking around and they weren't paying attention to him. And
That's
so,
the best teacher.
but after he threw it, he yells, he goes, "Stop talking when I'm talking." And then the kid's like, he's like, covering his like, "Teach, why'd you do that, Teach?"
Bro, that's funny. He had to be a coach too or something, huh?
No, he was just this curly-headed fuck.
That's funny, bro.
Nobody
we were
liked
so dumb as kids, though.
But just from what Jordan said too, because I mean, this is crazy. This wasn't like a therapy session for me, but this is also kind of like the first time I've heard really, and I know this may sound false. This is like the first time I heard somebody be like, "You need to understand why you got disciplined." I never really heard that before. I would just hear horror stories about what happened at home.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first time I heard like, if you get spanked or if you get your ass beat, if your parents went that far, like at least have the decency to tell them why they got it. Because like at school, if I got disciplined, at home, if I got disciplined, unless it was like my mama, like Jordan said, it was kind of like fear. I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I don't want this to happen again. So you don't know what behavior to avoid, but you're just
they
not,
tell you, man.
You're basically going down that whole day. What did I do that day? I'm not going to do anything that I did that day ever again. But also at the same time too, if you're deciding to not spank your children, and if your kids do things that you believe they should be spanked for, it requires some really, really skilled parenting and a lot of fucking patience.
Hell yeah.
Because even like me and you, if somebody that isn't our kid keep bugging us or doing some shit that really piss us off, what do we want to do? We want to fight them.
Yeah, I be wanting to square up, bro.
Yeah, you want to square up.
I'm
it's
like,
just,
what's up, little motherfucker?
Yeah, like some people that we won't name on this show, but some snitches, bro. And you're like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Like some people push us, adults, mind you, listeners, viewers, adults push me and Cedric so far that we're in here trying to do our thing, and we're like, I really want to square up with this person. I just
like that,
it's just, this feels like it's the only solution. So for me and you to feel that way, because listen, even if you're a kid, you pushing your fucking parents' buttons. Like, even I can almost guarantee you, just like me, just like you, Jordan, there were probably times you can remember as a kid, you doing some defiant shit and you just like egging your parents on.
You stressing adults out, bro. Like, perfect time for me to tell this story, bro. When I was in kindergarten, it was arts and crafts day, bro. We had scissors. My stupid ass kid brain, bro. My teacher, Miss Easton's, passing out scissors, bro.
Yeah.
Passing them hoes out. I get my pair of scissors. I don't know why, but I get fucking filled with excitement. I'm like, yeah, we got scissors. We're going to cut like this. I fucking cut my finger, bro.
Jesus.
I'm like, we're going to cut like this. Bro, my teacher is like, God damn it. So she's like grabbing my finger. Like, she's like taking me to the fucking sink, like rinsing my shit, bro. She bandages me up and shit. I had to sit there while everybody else got to make like fucking, I don't know, we were making some kind of postcards or some shit. But I was just like,
some bullshit.
And I was like the most excited kid there to like want to cut some shit.
You could tell, bro.
I fucking I cut my finger, bro, like without even thinking about it. I was just like, we're gonna cut like this. Fucking bro, and that's the thing, like I didn't even really like cry. I don't remember crying. I just remember her being like, God, you know how the parents grab you, you're like fucking slinging.
She's like, the first fucking time I bring these out,
bro,
man.
like bro, the very first time. So I'd be like, now I'm thinking about it, bro. She was probably stressed the fuck out, bro. Like,
what's another thing too? Because I feel like teachers, they're not more prepared to have children, but when I was studying teaching in college, you had to go through a lot of like philosophy, like mental understanding and like situational, like how to handle certain situations, and not only handling the situation, but understanding why certain students act the way that they do because of home life. So like teachers have a lot of knowledge if they paid attention leading up to them becoming teachers. So it's almost like parents too, unless like, because reading books and all this shit, you're not gonna know how to handle a situation until it happens to you.
And that's the answer I was looking for when I was talking about the research versus the parental.
Oh, you mean 30 minutes ago? Before we started talking about
it's
everything?
It's funny that it made it full circle, because I think that's exactly what the answer is. It's like you can do all the research you want, but like until you're like with a kid or you've been around children, or like teachers, they're around kids more than the parents are a lot of the times. Like you're with you're with somebody else's kids, 15 plus kids for like fucking 6 hours, 8 hours throughout the day. You know what I mean? You're more influenced than the parents are a lot of the time. So yeah, I think that's why like the research is so different. It's because, well, it's all situational. It's not black and white. All you can do is be like, well, this is what might happen if you do these things. Because it's just like a side effect. It's like a medicine commercial. We put out the pills, fucking
bloody diarrhea.
We yeah, right. We gave it to 50 people. 2 people came back with bloody diarrhea, and we have to put it on the fucking TV because it happened as a side effect.
Yeah, they don't know if they ate like Mexican food.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it could. You have to put.
They pushed too hard while they were shitting.
Every side effect on there, even if only like one person had it.
Yeah.
So it's like that, man. That's just crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
Hey man, we are almost out of time. I feel like this is a good time to wrap it up. No pun intended. If you want kids or not, you know what I mean? Wrap it up. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, here I Want to Argue, man. We like to end the show with our final thoughts and announcements. Joey, you want to give us final thoughts, my boy? On the situation.
So ultimately the question was, are you a bad parent for spanking your kids, or does spanking your child make you a bad parent, turn you into a bad parent? In my mind, there's a very clear line between spanking and just straight up abuse. Personally, I kind of have an understanding of what certain behaviors are justified with spankings. Just because you approve or you say, yes, I discipline my children with spanking, does not mean that every small action that the child does that requires discipline is led with a put them over the knee or anything like that. But at the same time, throughout this episode, I can see how on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are ways for you to discipline your child without it becoming physical. And what I learned is maybe just not necessarily reassurance, but just explaining to the kid, like, I'm taking this away from you, or you're grounded, or this or that, but this is why. And you like just trying to get them to understand that this is only happening because you fucked up, and this is why what you did is wrong. You know what I mean? That makes sense. But also at the same time too, if Billy's grabbing his sister by the back of the head and smacking her in the face and isn't stopping no matter what you fucking do, maybe the solution is just give him on the tushy, not on the face, not on the fucking back, not in the chest. You're not open chesting your kid, right? You're not grabbing your kid by the ankle and swinging him above your head. It's literally, that's funny. It's just like, it's a spanking, bro. It's a fucking spanking. And just like, don't go 15 smacks in the ass. Yeah, bro. Like you're not putting your kid in a trash bag and launching his ass across the living room or something. Hold on, wait. Hold on. That didn't happen to me. It's just where my mind went.
Hey, yo.
But that's really it. I feel like if obviously people are never going to agree on anything, it's just never going to happen.
That's why we have a show.
Yeah. So it's like if people can understand that line between abuse and a spanking, and I feel like ultimately it's up to the parents' jurisdiction. What the parents want to do, it should be up to the parents. Who the fuck are you to say that spanking your kid makes you a bad parent? Who are you to say that? You don't know what else these parents do. Now, also, I have to play devil's advocate. I also understand how from the outside looking in, if you're like, wait, you spanked your kid? Damn. You know what I mean? Anything physical warrants a negative attention nowadays. Yeah. Right?
It seems like it.
Seems like the victims of ass whoopings, justified or not, are the ones that get the public praise. So,
hey man, there's always going to be somebody out there who deserves an ass whooping.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is don't beat your kids. Cedric, back to you.
my final thoughts.
Oh, wait, fuck. I'm so sorry. I say this every week. Like, comment, subscribe. Cedric's going to fucking give you the rundown. Comment on this episode, guys. Go down there in the fucking comment section. Like, subscribe, ring the fucking ding or ring. Like, I wish I had pop-ups on my face right now. Like, just do all that shit. Do you guys want to hit your kids? Is that a Bad question to ask. Are you guys gonna hit your kids? Basically, just go down there. I want the comments to be filled with spank, no spank, 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 spank me, daddy. You know what I mean? Just like, just. I know it's a touchy subject, no pun intended, but I mean, guys, get involved with us. We're fucking here. Cedric's gonna hit you with a fucking email. Right into us. You guys are horrible people because you guys think that you can spank your kid on the tushy, yada yada yada. Blow us the fuck up. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Anyway, Cedric, now back to you.
Back to me. Final thoughts. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Man, you pretty much you said the damn thing.
I said a
bro.
lot.
You said the damn thing for sure. My whole thing about this is know your kids. You know, I think that's a very important part of disciplining them, because not all kids are the same. Some kids might be easier than others. The people with kids, I've heard the people with multiple kids like, yeah, you know, my first child was really chill. My second one, holy hell, you know, or
He
like
tried to stab me with a knife.
yeah, or vice versa, you know, like things of that sort. So I just feel like if you look at them as individuals and understand, you know, what they're capable of understanding, and actively take the steps to make them understand why this is wrong, why this is bad, then I think it will be okay. So where your spankings might be justified. To, you know, as long as you're not against putting your kid through a fish tank or some shit, like,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Cedric.
As long as you're doing something that, you know, it's actually for the betterment and not necessarily just to physically cause harm. And that if that's your ultimate goal behind disciplining your kid, then there's a problem behind that. So your goal should be to fix the situation and correct, not necessarily just inflict pain. So most definitely, that's my final thoughts on that. If you have a kid, take care of them. If you have kids that you don't take care of, you ain't shit. Take care of them. And yeah, argue responsibly. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you guys up with our social medias. If you like the episode, you know, you can catch more Wanna Argue. You can follow us on our social medias. Like us on Facebook at Wanna Argue, Instagram at Wanna.argue, TikTok at Wanna.argue. You can subscribe, hit that bell, you know what I'm saying, comment below in the YouTube video. You can subscribe to us at wa.responsibly. That's our YouTube. And if you want to hit us up, man, say what's up, give advice, you need advice, whatever it is that you want to tell Joey that he looks good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Follow on the Joey train. You.
Now nobody's gonna send anything, bro.
I'm dead as fuck, bro. If you want to talk to us, man, you can hit us up on our Gmail at wa.responsibly@gmail.com. If you would like access to all of those links at once, you can hit our link tree at linktree.com/wanna.argue. You can get our Spotify, our YouTube, and everything there, man. You know what I'm saying? Without further ado, I'm Seti Said, kicking it with my boy Joey, Jordan behind the ones and twos. Thank you so much. Reminding you that whatever you want to argue about, make sure you argue responsibly. Peace out. See you next week.
Bye.